Sehat, salam bahagia, salam cinta. Malam ini adalah 18 Oktober 2021 di Cinta ke-46 bersama saya Brenda I. Mekre. Dan malam ini saya akan ditemani oleh suami saya. Jadi yang kenapa malam ini saya minta isi di Cinta, karena beliau sebentar lagi mau pergi lagi berangkat lagi ke Hawaii menemani papanya. Dan permintaan cinta saya bersama Scott itu berdasarkan dari permintaan Bro Henry Chen dari Surabaya yang sudah bergabung. Selamat bergabung Bro Henry dan Sis Ervina dan lain-lain. Sehat-sehat semua ya. Saya sedang menunggu kehadiran Cinta. Tadinya saya itu dan Scott sudah rencana mau isi Cinta di anniversary kita di bulan November. Cuma karena rencananya dia akan berangkat hari Sabtu ini karena papanya mengalami masalah di ginjal dan dokter minta papanya itu dirawat lagi di rumah sakit, sementara papanya juga tidak mau masuk rumah sakit. Jadi Scott yang akan mengalah dan berangkat ke sana. Ya enggak apa-apa, tugas sebagai anak adalah merawat orang tua. Itu kan kita sudah ada di Sigalwada Suta ya bro dan sis ya. Dan sebentar lagi saya menunggu Scott datang. Beliau ini, kami menikah sudah 16 tahun. Dan kemudian dia adalah seorang guru bahasa Inggris di Junior and Senior High School di Narada untuk selama 12 terakhir. Ini yang saya bacakan apa yang dia tulis. I love Indonesian people, their culture and of course their food. Dia sangat menyukai orang-orang Indonesia, kultur kita, kebudayaan kita dan juga makanan. Dia itu doyan banget makanan Indonesia. Jadi nanti kalau ada yang mau interaksi, mau bertanya, boleh di chat ya bro dan sis. Dia bilang begini, I am a seeker of truth. Jadi dia adalah pencari kebenaran. Even if it's painful to look at, because I believe the more real truth you can find, the wiser you can be, and therefore the better the choices in life you can make. Jadi dia bilang dia itu pencari kebenaran walaupun terkadang itu menyakitkan. Karena dia menyukai mencari kebenaran, maka dia suka sekali melakukan riset. Dia ini backgroundnya bukan researcher, tetapi dia itu sangat suka melakukan research. Dan kalau sudah riset itu bisa sampai tengah malam. Mudah-mudahan Scott sebentar lagi bergabung. Jadi, how did I catch Brenda's eye? I gave her a CD of over 500 Dhamma talks and texts. Bener nih bro dan sis. Jadi waktu kita pertama kali ketemu, Scott itu ngasih saya CD yang isinya itu adalah Dhamma talk. Jadi dan buat saya itu agak amazing. Orang asing yang mau belajar Dhamma dan dia sudah mengkompilasi ceramah Dhamma begitu banyak sampai akhirnya dia suka sekali dengan Dhamma. Hai, how are you? Good evening.
Can you hear me okay?
The voice is a little bit screechy.
Really? Huh.
Now it's okay. Now it's better.
Is it better? Maybe I had my hand covering something, yeah. I was trying to adjust
okay.
a little bit, yeah. Okay.
Okay. I just read your profile. I was just telling them about when we first met, you gave me a CD of over 500 Dhamma talks.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Why?
Uh-huh.
Why did I do that? Why?
Uh-huh.
Well, because, we met at a temple, so,
right.
and I was yeah, at the time I didn't know how much you knew about Buddhism and all that kind of stuff. So, and I was just trying to share the information with people, everybody at the time, anybody who was interested. And
Uh-huh.
I figured if you're at a Buddhist temple, then you'd probably be interested. So, yeah.
Right. And how was it? How did you get into Buddhism? Maybe people would like to know. When we met, you are already a Buddhist, right?
Yeah,
But
right.
I believe a lot of people want to know how is it? What is it that make you interested in Buddhism?
Hmm. Well, first of all, I was raised without any religion at all, so I had an open
Mm-hmm.
mind. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I was in my teens, I was interested in higher consciousness stuff. I was just improving my ability to think and control my emotions and things like that. Be aware. A big part of that was being self-aware. And then
Mm-hmm.
um, and then I became a Christian for about 14 years. And then after studying Christianity for a long time, I was kind of becoming dissatisfied with it. Um, and then I had an employee who was reading a book about Buddhism. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Buddhism Plain and Simple. And I read that
Buddhism,
book.
plain and simple. Okay.
Yeah,
Who was the
yeah.
author? Do you remember?
The author, the author was a Zen, I think a Zen monk, a Zen Buddhist monk.
Oh,
I can't
okay.
remember. I can't remember. Yeah,
That's
but
okay.
anyway,
That's okay.
yeah. After I read that book, I was like, wow, this is great. It really spoke to my heart, my soul, that this was a good path. And then I went online. I started searching, and I think one of the first things I found was Ajahn Brahm's talks. So I started listening to his talks, and I just fell in love with Buddhism. Yeah,
Achan Brahm.
Ajahn
Mm.
Brahm. Yeah, yeah. And then I just decided,
You're
yeah,
you're
this is for
lagging.
me. Oh, I think we're on the same internet connection. Yeah, we're both using the same internet, right?
Yeah, I'm using the downstairs one. You're using the
Yeah,
upstairs one. So
yeah.
anyway, when you started listening to the talks by Achan Brahm and you listening to talks, were there any other teachers other than Achan Brahm?
Yeah, Ajahn Brahm, Ajahn Jnanadamo, which
Mm-hmm.
was, and then Ajahn Vayama, a Buddhist
Mm-hmm.
nun. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think that was it. I also listened to Bhikkhu Bodhi. I listened to a whole
Ah,
series by Bhikkhu Bodhi. Yeah, on pretty,
right.
yeah, many talks on a whole series. It was very good too. A good basic
Right.
understanding. Mhm.
So I'm just curious, out of those 500 talks, did you listen to all of those talks?
Hmm. I may have, as I was listening to about 2 or 3 talks a day for 2 years, something
Wow.
like that. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I was consuming the Dhamma. Remember, and I set up that FM radio station thing where I could broadcast it to radios all over the house. So
Right.
no matter what room we were in, we
You
could
could
hear the
listen
talk.
to the Dhamma talk.
Yeah, that was before Bluetooth. Yeah.
Right. So when we first met, and you were a Buddhist, and what was it that do you remember what you told me when we started get together? Do you remember what you told me?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I said
I would
as
like for
long as two.
people to listen to this so they can apply this in their lives.
Okay, okay. I said as long as two people follow the Dhamma, they practice the Dhamma in their life, then they should not have any problems in their relationship. because they'll be compassionate, they'll be forgiving, they'll be loving, kind. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they'll let go of things that might get in the way. You know, yeah, yeah. So
Right.
there's a lot of if people follow the Dhamma, they can't help but have a good relationship. Yeah,
Correct.
but they have to
Right.
really follow it. You know, they have to let
Right.
go. They have to, yeah,
And I believe there's more to it, which is the precept. Correct.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct, of course. Yeah, if you practice the precepts, yeah, you don't have harsh speech towards each other, then yeah, you don't have
Right.
arguments, right? You know, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, if you don't drink or do drugs, then yeah, you're not going to do stupid things that could cause problems. Yeah,
Right.
sexual misconduct, yeah, all that. Sure. Hmm.
So when you first learned about Buddhism, I remember you were telling my friends Eva, Sugi, and I that you wanted to become a monk.
Yeah, yeah, I did. I was planning to become a monk, um, but then I met you. Yeah. So, and I told my mom, yeah, I'm going to become a monk. You know, because I was going through the divorce at the time, right? So I needed to wait about 7 years and to do the child support and spousal support and all that. And then, and so I told my mom I was going to become a monk, and my mom said, "Oh yeah, right." She said, she said somebody's gonna pick you, snatch you up, and that'll be it. You won't be a monk. Yeah, she was right.
She was right. She was so wise.
Yeah, yeah, she was right.
Wow,
Yeah,
love. Bro Henry said very romantic.
yeah.
By the way, this Bro Henry Chen is the guy I was telling you. He lives in Surabaya. He and
Uh
his
huh.
wife sent us the nice, very nice bed sheet. This is
Yeah.
the guy.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Yeah, we both really like it. Yeah, so really appreciate that.
Yeah. So anyway, um, when when we started got together, what was it that made you interested more in the Dharma?
Hmm. When we first got it, what caused me to become even more interested in the Dhamma?
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, I guess shortly after we got together, we met uh, Bante Wimala Ramsey. So that teaching of the 6 R's, the TWIM. Um,
Mm,
that was really nice because it gave us I think a better way of meditating. A better
right.
way to get deeper in our
Oh,
meditation.
Bro Henry Chen said, hope someday we can meet.
Yeah, me too, bro. Yeah,
If Bro Henry come to Jakarta or if we can go to Surabaya someday.
sure, sure. That would be nice.
So yeah. If any one of you have any questions to Scott, please write down in the question mark, and so I can read it to him. And so when before we met Bante, we've been looking for teachers, remember?
Yeah, that's
And
right. Yeah, we met Mark and Antra at Wat Metta. Hmm.
right,
Through
and
Wat.
that's where we. Hey, tell them about what meta.
Oh yeah, so yeah, Wat Metta is a um, Theravada monastery. Yeah, basically in Valley Center, California, and so with uh, Ajahn Tan Jeffrey, yeah, Tan Jeff,
Uh-huh.
Ajahn
Tanisaro Biku.
Tanisaru Bhikkhu, yeah, uh,
Right.
uh, probably a pretty famous translator, yeah, by now,
He
I'm sure,
is.
yeah, And so he's the abbot of the monastery. So we would go up there, I don't know, every other weekend. I mean, sometimes we went up every weekend for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
But
other weekend was the Sutta study, the Dhamma study with him. And
yeah.
sometimes we would spend the night. And that's where you took me for the first time on our date.
Yeah. First date, yeah, to a monastery. Yeah. I asked if you would come, right? Because there was a big event going on. It was like
Right.
Songkran or something like that, right?
It was Songkran. It was
Yeah.
around April or March.
Yeah.
Songkran is a Thai tradition thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then you knew how to do all the chanting and all the bowing and how to do everything. So I kind of followed you around like a little puppy dog. And I did what you did, because I didn't know how to do all that stuff, you know. Yeah.
And I remember when you took me to the monastery, you were telling me about the ice and in the coffee. Do you want to tell them about that?
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, I had like an analogy of letting go and becoming, I guess, one with the Dhamma, and also maybe Nibbana, the attainment of Nibbana, is like the complete letting go. It's like an ice cube, that in a cup of hot coffee, that just melts and fades and then becomes the coffee, becomes the Dhamma. In that case, it's like the Dhamma. Yeah, but you got to let go, You have to let go for that to happen.
Right. So we did the sutta study with Tanjev, and every other weekend. And so after that, we met Bante. And what is it that brought you into Bante's teaching, twin?
Well, I think
something wrote in Chinese and I don't understand.
Okay, me neither. Yeah. So what brought me to the teaching was Mark. We had friends up at Wat Metta, and they were friends of Bante. Had been friends for many, many years actually, and had been following his teaching, and they were practicing his teaching also.
Mm-hmm.
And they told us about it, and we were interested. So we went and met Bante. Yeah. But before we did that, I think we had a couple sittings at their house, right? We went down to their house in the evenings.
Right. We went to their house, Amak and Andre's house down in San Diego.
Yeah, Point Loma, I think it was. Mm-hmm.
Right. And we did a kind of one day get together, like when Bante came to, I think it was Barbara's house in Laguna Beach, where we learned, I think it was Barbara's house or Donna's house. So anyway, remember I was telling you that when I saw them for the very first time, Sister Kema and Bante, I had a tear in my eyes that this is my teacher, because he was reading Sutta. He was reading from the Majjhima Nikaya. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea at the time that there was no monk, as far as I know, other than Tanjev and Bante was reading Sutta. At the time, it was 2008 when we first met Bante, right? Well, of course, in my limited understanding, I didn't really look around for other teachers reading suttas. But when I first heard Bante was talking about the sutta, it was really touching deep to my inside.
Yeah.
Was it the same to you?
No, no, because I think, but I mean, I like the teaching, the instructions that we were given to do the meditation. So
Mm,
I felt like, you know, this made sense, and it even in the short time, I felt like, you know, that it was like working, you know, better than the. I think by that time had only been doing breath meditation, and
me too.
which kind of which tended to put me to sleep, actually. Um, you know, following sort
With
of
breath
monotonous,
meditation?
yeah, with breath meditation, yeah. But yeah, this was different, you know, because we're smiling and bringing up a feeling of happiness, and so it's more energetic, I think. And
Mm,
yeah, so I felt that I felt yeah, it was, first of all, it was different, and then I felt like, yeah, I could see how this could be really effective, and I did feel a little bit of the effect. I think I'm just meditating the first time, but I
right.
guess since I had been, you know, listening to so many Dhamma talks and things like that, I think you know, I wasn't overwhelmed, you know, like you were so much. I don't know at the time.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I remember when we knew Bante when he was living he went to take care of his mother in Escondido.
That's
And we
right.
used to
Yeah.
come to their house every Sunday to bring them food so
Yeah.
they could prepare the food for them for the whole week, right? Do you remember that?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I do.
And then we joined the retreat in what was that place? Joshua Tree.
Yeah.
And you had that infection, remember?
Yeah. I do. I
How did you do
remember.
the retreat in such a difficult time with a bad infection in your leg?
Well, I just didn't know it was that bad. I, yeah, yeah. You know, when I started seeing that black line going from my knee up to my groin, then I realized, so something's not right here.
The retreat,
Are you on? Are you
yeah,
there? Can you hear
yeah,
me?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So, and then remember, Antra is a doctor, right?
right,
Antra, yes. So she said, "This doesn't look good. You better go to emergency." Did
right,
you hear that? I wasn't.
right.
Did I cut out?
Uh-huh. Yeah, so I was driving. At the time, it was like already about 6 or 7 days of the retreat. And the day
Yeah.
we left, that night Bante was reading the Chacaka Sutta, which we missed. And eventually, after doing the next retreat, then I understand that Chacaka Sutta is one of the sutta which is really truly amazing.
Hmm. But by that time, I think it was so good for you. You had said you felt a lot of peace, even though it was a very stressful time and everything. You were very peaceful
Right,
about the whole thing. Yeah.
right. I was even able to drive 5 hours from Joshua Tree direct to the hospital, remember?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I had to leave you at the hospital until midnight, and I was driving home, and there was no anxiety, there's no anxiousness, it's just peace and calm. Because at
Yeah.
the time I already experienced the upeka, the equanimity.
Hmm.
When we experience upeka, the equanimity, our mind is not like juggled, it's not going through the roller coaster so much. It's really
Yeah.
peaceful and calm, and it was helping me to deal with when you were sick at the time with the infection.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were really at peace. Yeah. And I was, Well, I didn't know what was going on. I just, they're trying to figure out how to take care of that infection. And they finally ended up giving, it was a MRSA infection. And it was pretty bad. Yeah. It wasn't responding to normal antibiotics. So I had to take vancomycin, remember?
Right.
They gave, yeah.
And I had to be at home to take care of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And somebody asked a question, love. Renee Wijaya, how to practice the let go in couples life? How to practice the let go in couples life?
Yeah. Well, like one very simple thing is if you see that your significant other, I guess I don't know what couple we're talking about, a wife or a husband or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Maybe they do something wrong or stupid or something like that, and that our tendency maybe is normally to criticize, like, well, like, you know, why didn't you close the door, or why did you leave that on the floor, or, you know, something like that. And so, like, instead of doing that, just don't. You know, let it go. Sometimes people do things, you know, accidentally, you know, and they didn't mean to leave the door open. They just did leave the door open. Or in my case, I didn't mean to leave the toilet seat down. I just forgot to put it up. You know, so
and we can laugh about it.
yeah. You know, so don't, you don't have to, you know, like pick on people, just like let it go. Just, now if it's a big problem, if they're doing something really bad that they shouldn't be doing, well, you have to talk about it, of course. But even then you can talk about it peacefully, right? Or you can be all crazy minded. You know, yeah, you can talk in a calm, peaceful way, or, you know, you can show anger and disgust and, you know, how could you do this and how could you do that, you know. So, you know, you try not to do that. You a big part of it is being mindful enough of yourself so that you can stop yourself. You can stop yourself before you say the wrong thing, or before you say something in a let's say emotional way, overly emotional way, or before you even criticize. You stop and realize, oh, you know, I don't have to. Why should I criticize? Yeah, so you be more mindful of your words. A lot of it has to do with self-awareness, so that you realize that you're there talking. You're not just talking. You realize that you're there thinking. You're not just thinking automatically and then this comes out your mouth. You know, you stop. You slow down. Yeah, and then you let go. And then you let go. There's a tendency to maybe want to say it, but no, just like, okay, let go, let it go. I don't have to say that. Yeah, we don't have to say what just comes to our mind. We can let it go, you know, and then there's more peace, you know. Yeah. So
true.
That's
the way. Yeah, that's why. That's how we practice it. Sometimes it's not all, you're not a perfect person and I'm not a perfect person, but we try to get along really well, which I believe we get along really well. We rarely have any disagreements. There were some disagreements. I wouldn't say that our marriage life is all smooth, but we can always find a way and talk through and discuss, and we are not raising voice. That's one of the things which we learn along our way, that we have to be, as you said, we have to be mindful with our speech, so that we are not getting upset a lot.
Yeah. Also, sometimes we know there's certain things that we can say to each other that are very harmful, you know. like for me, if somebody calls me stupid, then that really bothers me if somebody calls me stupid. So if you know that, then you try not to say that to me, for example, because that really I think I believe I'm not stupid, and so when somebody calls me stupid, then that really upsets me. Of course, the other side of that is me letting go of being upset about being called stupid. That's so also that I can work on myself that way too. But your partner, if they cannot, if you know that something really bothers somebody, then you try to not, like me with the toilet seat. Okay, I try to remember to put the toilet seat back up. So it's not wet. Yeah. So I do try. Yeah, but sometimes I forget. Yeah.
I appreciate that you try.
Yeah, I try. Yeah.
So when we discuss about this topic about wisdom, what is it which you want to explore, or what comes to mind when you do the topic about wisdom?
Oh, well, So there's different types of wisdom. Bhante Vimalaramsi would say it's the wisdom of Buddhism, or the Buddha talks about, right, and the suttas is about the dependent origination, right?
Correct.
So yeah, but I'm talking about more of I guess a worldly type of wisdom, which is basically one really good way that I've kind of heard it described is it's like every bit of data that you get is like a dot. So if you imagine, if you look at a picture is like 180. Yeah,
right.
Pixels, right? Yeah, pixels is made up of a bunch. I mean, a picture is made up of a bunch of dots, which are we call them pixels.
Right.
So if you're looking at a picture and it's not very clear because it's low resolution, then that's just you don't have as many dots. You don't have all the dots, and so the more dots that you get of that picture, then the clearer the picture becomes, and then basically the more truth that you can see. So and that's kind of where research comes in. Actually in the world today, though, let's say if you're, for example, which I do a lot of, is researching about COVID-19 and the vaccines and ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. The more there's two types of dots. There's fake dots and there's real dots. So you also have to sort the dots out. You have to be able to be aware enough and kind of smart enough, or whatever, astute enough, discerning enough to look at that and say, well, this is not a true dot. I need to sort that out and not include that in the picture. Like, for example, with ivermectin, if you watch, for example, CNN News, they're basically saying, ivermectin doesn't work and it's horse medicine and all this kind of stuff. And one of the ways that I know that they're lying and that those dots are not true are because just the way they say it. They don't even say darn, we wish it was true, but it's really not true. They just say it's not true, and the doctors who say that it's true, well, they don't know what they're talking about, things like that. So they're very cold, and so I can see through their coldness, or I add their coldness to the information that they're giving, and I can tell it's not real. Like they're just parrots. Whereas when I see a doctor talking about ivermectin and they literally cry because the WHO, and they cry about the WHO being so corrupt, and they literally break down in tears, I know that's truth. I know that at least what they are saying, they believe what they're saying. They believe in it so much that they're it brings them to tears. So
Yeah.
when that happens, I know that this is more probably truth. And also you can see the compassion in the people too. If are they
Right.
compassionate or
You
not? If
can
they don't
feel
have,
it, right?
yeah, yeah, if they don't have compassion, they don't have, then there's something wrong. They're again, maybe they're just getting paid to say what they say, and so therefore, they have no compassion, and they
Mm,
certainly don't break down and cry about it.
right.
So anyway, so you have to be discerning to know which dots to take to fill in the picture and which dots to get rid of, so that you then end up with a clear picture of the truth reality, so that you then can make choices and
Mhm.
important decisions, like whether or not you take a vaccine, whether or not you get ivermectin, things like that. Um,
Now let's talk about, because time is limited. Let's talk about the CDH, because I believe people would like to know. By the way, give me 1 second to
okay,
get the Spectromax, but you can talk about the CDH.
okay. So CDH is it stands for chlorine, which is the C. The D is dioxide, and the H is holding, which I didn't choose that name. Somebody else did, but basically it means it's a solution that holds chlorine dioxide. So chlorine dioxide is a gas and a molecule that is dissolves or is absorbed by water, and it kills all viruses and bacteria. There's like no virus and no bacteria that it's ineffective against, and it's like a medicine. Um, but like any medicine, you have to get the concentration right and the dosage right. So you have to, be careful. If you use too much, it can harm you, just like any medicine. And if you use too little, then it won't help. So yeah, so this is Spectromax, which is a product that we've developed. It's not actually for health use. It's more for to use as a hand sanitizer, air sanitizer,
Humidifier.
humidifier, air sanitization. Um, which like there's a Japanese study where they put out a very, very small amount of chlorine dioxide in the air, a safe amount, for human breathing, and it reduced in schools in Japan, and it reduced the absentee rate, because the students didn't get sick, during the flu season, things like that, and so
Wow.
yeah,
So
it's
they are
been
using
proven to.
the chlorine, the CDH basically.
Yeah, so the CDH is more my thing, where people are using it for health reasons, and the
Mm,
Spectromax, of course, is more your thing, which is for sanitization. But it's the same stuff. You can't talk about. You're not supposed to talk about it in a health way.
right.
So therefore, I talk about it for health, and
Right.
you don't. Yeah, for the government's sake. Yeah, all
Yeah,
that
this
kind of
is
stuff.
only for me to sell for the humidifier, which we use this, and it helps the air to be clean.
Yeah, and
Because
then
when
the
I
people
see
in Mexico.
clients,
Go ahead.
this humidifier will help to clean the air.
Yeah, and then some people are inhaling that as like a nebulizer to kill the virus in the nose, like the COVID virus, coronavirus, and then also in the lungs, and then the doctors in Mexico are using a form of the chlorine dioxide to give to their patients, and they had better results than ivermectin, actually. The death rate and the staying out of the hospital rate is like 99.3, I think, percent. very, very high.
I
Using
remember
chlorine
you
dioxide.
did a talk with the Bolivia group. Was it Bolivia or South America somewhere?
Yeah, South America. Yeah, yeah. People from all over the world were in the Zoom, but yeah, yeah. The Latin American community is well, basically it was legalized in Bolivia. So Bolivia,
Oh,
yeah, Bolivia can give chlorine dioxide. The doctors can. The government has said, yeah, okay, go ahead, because I believe the president of Bolivia and some very high-ranking officials in the military got COVID and were suffering, maybe going to die, and they took the chlorine dioxide and they got well, and so
oh,
they saw how well it worked, and then they went through their Congress and got it legalized. You know, but
yeah.
but but it,
That's
but it's a lot like ivermectin, where it's shut down. You don't hear anything about it on the news. You're not allowed to talk about it. Yeah, like that. So go ahead. Yeah, love.
yeah. There's a comment by Bro Henry. A
Mm.
beautiful journey to meet love and Dharma. If there is a choice to meet again in the next life, can we resolve to practice Dhamma together and attain Nibbana together?
That's a question for me. If we resolve, wow, to meet in the next life, but we're supposed to resolve to leave this life. Like this is supposed to be our resolve is to, like, this is our last life. So therefore,
Yes,
yeah, we're not planning on meeting next life, because this is, hopefully the last one, right? So
correct.
yeah, which
So we
which
don't plan on meeting again in the next life.
yeah,
We are trying hard that this is our last life as a human, right?
yeah. Well, especially you. I'm a little more lost in the world than you are. I think you're more focused on, yeah. Sometimes I think, life isn't so bad, but lately I've been thinking, yeah, life isn't so good with all this crazy governments and all this stuff, So, and the
The
WHO and
pandemic, you mean?
pandemic and everything connected to it.
Yeah. Hey, there is a question again by Bro Henry. Does love become attachment or motivation?
Hmm. Attachment or motivation? Wow. I guess both, right? So it's yeah, there's of course an attachment, but also a motivation to help each other, right? To make each other's lives better, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, and then of course, if you love your spouse, then yeah, it is, there is an attachment, yeah, and that yeah, that could hold you back, yeah, it really could, right? So we have to learn
Yeah.
to let go. So learn to let
Yeah.
go without but still be there, So it's a tricky thing. But I think
Right.
that's why monastics become monastics, because it's hard, right? It's hard as a layperson to totally leave, right? Yeah.
But we've been living like brother and sister for so many years, especially after I did the temporary ordination. But it's really, we really help each other. Like when you have to be with your father in Hawaii for 4 months, that was really hard, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because usually you are helping around the house, you are sharpening the knives, and
Reaching things that
me
are
and
high.
mommy, huh?
Reaching things that are high.
Right, because I'm very short.
Yeah.
But um, I can understand if you have to take care of your parents, because you understand when I have to take care of my parents that you came to Indonesia with me because you knew I have to take care of my parents here.
True. Yeah.
So that goes both ways. I think that is really supporting each other and respect each other's duty, and like you have to take care of your father,
Yeah.
and you have to go back there, which hopefully you'll be able to help him
Yeah.
going through his difficulties towards the end of his life, which he talked about like that to you, that he doesn't want to be hospitalized, that you will be there to support him, to help him. And I'm totally okay with that, because really it's our duty as a son and a daughter to our parents, right?
Right.
And that way we can say that we are really supporting each other really well. There is a slight attachment, but it's not that strong, I would say.
Hmm.
Because if we are too attached to each other, then you don't want to live here,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Well, and
Uh,
we have to hopefully be not so attached that we can't do the right thing, you know.
right,
And if the right thing is for me to go help my father, that's what I need to do. And then
right,
my attachment keeps me from doing that. That's not good. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. But as a husband and wife, of course, there is a slight attachment. That's what I
Sure.
said. That's what
Sure.
keep us going. We were able to communicate, I think, daily when you were in Hawaii for 4 months earlier
Yeah. Pretty
this
much.
year.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
Even a day could be several times, and
That's right.
and that's what helps us went through the difficulties we might have. Yeah, like you have difficulties dealing with your father. I had some difficulty here, and we talked through it, and we are helping
Yeah.
each other that way. And
Yeah.
I think that's really uh, keep us closer that way.
For sure. Yeah. And the because of our technology now to be able to do video calling like we're doing right now is really fantastic. You know, it really is.
Yeah.
It's
Unfortunately, if you like, we already planned that we're gonna do this Chinta thing during our anniversary, right? Which is next
right.
month. But since you have to leave, I have to pull it up, and I have to push back the person who I'm going to talk to next week. And
Yeah.
good thing Cecilis understands that that we are doing this. This is so that it will be like our nice, um, it's like an anniversary gift, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. For Henry. Yeah.
Yeah, for Bro
And
Henry.
yeah, for Bro Henry. Yeah. Plus, if we were to do this during this time, and I'm in Hawaii, it would be 2 in the morning, right? For me, I
Right.
think.
7 p.m. Jakarta, 2 a.m. in Hawaii. That's
Yeah.
why
So
I don't
not
want you
not
to,
good. Yeah.
yeah, I don't want you to stay up that late, just to do this Chinta thing.
Yeah.
And we appreciate Sis Lilis for understanding to move back her schedule for next Monday.
Yeah.
It's almost an hour we've been talking.
Wow.
Is
Time
there
flies, huh?
anything, right? Time flies when we have a great time. So is
Hmm.
there anything you wanna tell the viewers about the wisdom that we talk about, and how TWIM helps you get a real wisdom in the
Hmm.
daily life?
Oh yeah. Sure. Well, yeah. So what TWIM does, like the T of TWIM is tranquil, right? So
Yes.
yeah, tranquility, of course, is a calmness and a peacefulness, right? And almost for me, it's almost like it's got a little bit of joy mixed into it too, you know, tranquility. So it's like a happiness also there too. And that, of course, is also indicates a calm mind, right? So the calmer our mind is, if our mind is jumping all over the place like a monkey jumping around from here to there, they call it monkey mind, right? If it's doing that, it's hard for us to see things clearly. And but if we can settle our mind and make it calm and peaceful, well, then we can see more. We can look more closely, more deeply into things, and see, get more data. Really, get more information that we need, in order to make good decisions. And so you have to. Ajahn Brahm has a talk one time where he talks about there's this a road that he always goes. Normally, he goes up in a car. And the car is moving along, and he sees the dirt and the ground going by, the rocks and the trees and the bushes and things, and that's the way he's always gone up, was in a car. But for some reason, one time he had to get out and walk, and then while walking, he noticed how much more clearly he could see the ground, the rocks, the plants, the trees, the flowers, the insects. All the things that he couldn't really see when he was moving so fast in the car. And so by slowing down, we see more. We see more deeply. And then, and then we can use that as, that additional information that we get to make more wise decisions and to see things that other people maybe can't even see. Because they don't know they don't know how to slow their mind down, and maybe we can even help them to see things. Of course, ideally, we maybe help them to meditate, and so they can do it for themselves. But it's slowing down is very important, and that's why we got to slow our minds down. That's meditation does that, Sometimes I think it doesn't slow it down, though. Sometimes I think it speeds it up. Like the faster our mind goes, then everything around looks like slow motion. So then, therefore, it looks like it's everything else that we're looking at is slow. So we see more detail, but maybe our mind is sped up. I don't know. Sometimes I think we might have that backwards. Yeah. Because if you've ever seen a movie or something where they take like some sort of a drug that makes them go super fast. I think there's like The Flash, for example, TV show where he can move almost the speed of light or something like that. And while he's moving that fast, everybody else looks like they're moving in slow motion. So he can go and look at them and see, and they're barely moving at all. And and he can see all these details. So. Yeah, maybe our mind actually is moving faster when we meditate. Maybe, I don't
know. There's one thing. Is there any advice for her who wants to learn about Buddhism? Is there a book or a set which you can recommend to understand about Dhamma?
The series, and this is in English, by Bhikkhu Bodhi, that I mentioned earlier, that's a very, very good series of, I think there's 20 talks. I think there's like, I think there's 1 through 10, but there's like an A and a B to each. So I would look up for, it might be kind of dry though. I mean, Ajahn Brahm is great, because he also makes it fun too. Yeah, go to, what is the Buddhist Society of Western Australia, BSWA.org. Yeah, and you'll find the talks by Ajahn Brahm and all of the other monks that are there too. And really great way. And listen to a talk a day, something like that.
And also, we can recommend the dhammasuka.org.
Of course.
It's Bante's website.
Right,
There's a
right.
comment from Bro Henry. I hope all goes well. Scott's father will get healthier. Thank you for today. We will precise this moment of cinta. It will be a good advice for me and my wife to learn and meditate uh, more and more. And
Good.
thanks a lot, Sis Brenda and Bro Scott. Hope we'll see you soon.
You're
Okay.
welcome. You're welcome,
Begini,
Bro Henry.
sis, just a minute. I need to tell her about the bahasa. Mungkin sis bisa masuk ada ya banyak sekali website dhammatalks.org. Di situ di Indonesia banyak sekali biku-biku yang memberikan ceramah. Salah satu yang bagus-bagus di situ juga banyak. Ada Bante yang mulia Bante Panyawaru Mahatera, ada Bante yang mulia Bante Utamo Mahatera. Banyak sekali Dhamma Talk di sana. Jadi kalau sis atau bro we in touch tertarik bisa mencari dan ada juga misalnya mau dengar yang bahasa Inggris juga banyak sekali Dhamma Talk. Jadi bisa membantu untuk belajar lebih dalam seperti itu. Okay, any advice?
An hour a day, or a Dhamma talk a day. A Dhamma talk a day.
A Dhamma Talk a day, and also try to sit daily, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Is there any more?
From me?
Mm-hmm.
Anything
Right?
else?
Yeah.
How much time we have?
About 5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes. Okay. Well, I'd like to share a little bit about COVID-19 and stuff like that. Just a little bit, just real brief, yeah. That people don't have to be afraid of the COVID-19. They should always have ivermectin with them. Buy it, get it through the doctor, through a hospital. If you can't find it any other way, get it through Tokopedia. They have ivermectin. It's supposed to be for animals, but I think it's basically the same thing. And have it on stock, have it on hand, and then and you can use it as a prophylactic, like what we do every 7 days or 10 days, and
Every 10 days. We're taking that every 10 days.
Right. Every 10 days. And then that way, and then if you get it, then you take it. And also go to the flccc.net website, flccc.net, because they've got a very, very good protocol on how to treat outpatient COVID-19. And so there's no reason why anybody needs to die. Unfortunately, for some strange reason, the government health departments are basically covering this up, and there's I don't know why.
Nowadays it's been better.
It's better.
Some doctors give that give the medicine, and since we are not doctors, I don't think we can recommend. But they can listen.
Yeah,
they
my
can
recommendation.
Listen, they can go to the website as you advised. flccc.net or .org?
I believe it's .net, flccc.net. It might be .org. It's one of those two. Yeah,
right.
And I'm not. I'm recommending because the doctors recommend. I'm just passing the information along. Yeah.
Right. This is we need to clarify.
Yeah. I'm just sharing what they've shared. That's all.
Oke, Red Butterfly. Oke, Bro Scott sudah bercerita tentang bagaimana beliau mengenal Dhamma. Sudah, sis. Nanti rekamannya didengar lagi dari awal. Tadi Scott sudah cerita bahwa bagaimana perjalanannya mengenal Dhamma. Oh, somebody wrote Ranwijaya, flccc.net. Okay, so thank you very much for becoming my guest tonight. To share your insight and talking about wisdom. So I will share merit after this. Jadi saya berterima kasih kepada Bro Scott, suami saya, yang sudah menjadi guest malam ini di dalam seri Cinta, cerita inspiratif Nampol Tuimas Asik, di mana beliau menceritakan bagaimana perjalanan beliau bertemu Dhamma sampai akhirnya mendapatkan kebijaksanaan, mempunyai wisdom, dan juga bagaimana kita menjalankan kehidupan sebagai perumah tangga, sebagai suami istri, di dalam Dhamma, menjalankan sila, dana, dan bawana. Dan kami berdua berterima kasih kepada semua yang hadir di sini, baik yang gabung di dalam IG Live malam ini atau yang nanti mendengarkan rekamannya. Dan semoga bermanfaat, may it be beneficial to everybody who's listening to the talk and later listening to the recording as well. Dan kami berdua mohon maaf apabila ada kata-kata, pikiran, atau perbuatan yang pernah kami lakukan keliru, baik dalam kehidupan ini maupun kehidupan lampau. Semoga kami bisa dimaafkan. I'm asking forgiveness if there is anything, any speech, thoughts, or deeds which we might have done intentionally or unintentionally. So we are asking forgiveness to people who might listen to this. So I'm going to share the merit in English. Biasanya saya berbagi jasa dalam bahasa Indonesia, kali ini saya akan berbagi jasa dalam bahasa Inggris. May suffering ones be suffering free and the fear struck fearless be. May the grieving share all grief and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, Devas and Nagas of mighty power share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. May they protect Indonesia and the whole world. May all beings be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, love.
Yeah, thank you. See you later.
See you soon. Oke, selamat malam bro dan sis.
Bye-bye.
Sampai
Bye-bye,
jumpa di
everybody.
Cinta ke-47 Senin depan di tanggal 25 Oktober bersama sis Lilis dari Surabaya. Selamat malam, salam sehat, salam bahagia, salam cinta. Kita jumpa di Senin berikutnya. Bye.
Bye-bye.